Hi there guys, Farmer Bob here, man. Welcome back to my channel. Great to be back, guys, on another map making video, or will I say modding map making video. In this case, a warm welcome to you, man. If this is the first time that you are on my channel, yeah, wonderful to have you, and thanks for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe and share my goodies. I really appreciate. It's always nice to gain some new friends, you know. Wonderful. Great, guys. So what are we doing today, man? We are going to have a look at doing some what do you call it, branding or labeling or whatever you want to call it. So to show you what I'm talking about, let's open this trailer. It's from the in-game folders. I should actually just go here. It's in the vehicle folder in-game anyway. So I'm just going to open this up. Sorry, not twice, just once. And then let's have a look at what we're going to do today. So when you put decals and stuff on your vehicles or on buildings or whatever, there's always a problem of having a decal sit on a bent object, like a round thing. Now I'm going to show you how to do, well, not how to, but how I do these round things. It's a lot of work most of the time, but in general, if you follow the process, it is a simple process, but a lot of work to get something on a round shape like that. Now, there's no editing facility in the editor that I know of where you can put something on a round thing. Unfortunately, I don't know of any in the editor. I know you can create some primitive like a cube and whatever, and that is basically what we're going to do in Blender, but we're going to export this tank first of all. We can actually export just a cube if you want to, but I'm not too sure. I've never tried to export a cube from here to see if it comes out round on the other side, but we'll do that in Blender anyway. Follow the process, you know. Not a cube, a cylinder in this case, because this is actually a cylinder with some goodies around it, you know, so that's basically the trick. So what we're going to do is find this thing's visual part, so that will be there. Visuals, there it is. Open that up. That is a mesh reflector. Where is this tank? Let me just see where the tank is hiding. Wheels, lights, full unit, full to gear. What we want is this this huge tank in the middle. We should be able to grab the tank. I just want to get past all these triggers. And my nav speed here, bottom left is bottom right is way too high, and that's why I'm zooming in and out like Superman. Yeah, there is another trigger box around or something around this thing, so I just want to click on it and see. It is that component there, the visual. Definitely. But normally the visual, yeah, it's possible. Reflector, mesh, weld bone, pipes. That's obviously your pipes and stuff. And that is not the whole thing, so it must be that one there. And now it includes the whole thingamabob. So if we go in closer, it's one thing I don't appreciate about FS25's new way of displaying whatever you're selecting. It is horrible. It is totally horrible, especially when you want to place something on the ground. In all the previous editors, when you have a box selected or something selected and you want to level it, it used to disappear, the piece that goes into the ground. Now you can't really see whether you're aligning something anywhere. It is terrible, the way they've got this new highlight thing going. And like now, we've highlighted the visual part of it. It's only showing the box, the trigger boxes. So when you go in closer now, suddenly, zoop, now you've got more stuff appearing and disappearing. I tell you, it is a, there's a saying in our language, it's like vomit in a tumble dryer, you know, that's how this is now. I'm sorry for the ranting, but it's just frustrating. Anyway, so now we select that. make sure you've got the whole thing in view, because when you export to OBJ, it's an object file. What is in your viewport gets exported. All right, so if what you have selected is not in total view, you'll only have that part that is in the viewport here, that edges of the viewport, whatever is in there will be exported. So if you want to export the whole tank and you've got it selected like that, it's only going to export this piece here that is part of it, you know. So unfortunately, that's just how it is. So select it, file, export selection. And we're going to go to desktop, and I've got a temp folder here. I've built a tank the other day, so this should, have I got a tank in here still? Nope, I don't. So I think I maybe deleted it. I'll just call it tank. You see there's the object, okay? And then here by i3D, we want to select the OBJ like that and click save. And oh, it is there somewhere. I didn't see a tank, but anyway, let's just replace it. All right, and there it is. Now we can close this up. Don't save because it's in-game. The idea here is to make the sign that we put on the vehicle. All right, so that is basically what we're building now. You can probably, yeah, let's not bother with that. I've just had another thought, but let's not get confused now. All right. So for now, we finished there. So let's go to the desktop. Just check our temp file. It should be in here now. Tank.obj. There it is. Okay. So now we're going to open Blender. If you don't have Blender, install it. Use 4.3. That's the latest version that is supported by the Giant's export tool. So you want to have the latest version that supported the Giant export tool. So if you click, let me just get rid of this little thing. So if you click here on this little smaller than sign, you'll see the Giant export tool is in here, and it's an export tool that you have to install on Blender, and then you can use that. All right, so what we want to do now is import, obviously, and to just get rid of all this stuff, I press A to select all, press delete, and then everything is clean. File import, we're going to find the OBJ, that's what we want. We go to the place where we've exported and select that and say import. All right, and we should get it in here now, soon. It should be there. There it is. Water, why is it saying water? I don't know now what's going on here. Water. I didn't export water. Just up the view a little bit. And I'm so used to oh wait. Oh no, this is the wrong OBJ. So where's my tank? Oh, it was tank, man, not file import. You're probably having a good laugh on my expense now. It's not water, it's tank. Temp and then tank. There it is. Oh my word. I was going to say, what is going on now? Oh my gosh. All right, so there it is. And as you can see, Giants has given us the very nice box that we've exported. That is now terribly bad. All right, so let us just close this and don't save. Let us redo this whole thing. Farming Simulator 25 data vehicles. We're going to have to delete everything that's around that thing, because otherwise you're not going to get the right curve. Now the curve is important. So it's data vehicles, and then here it's MKS. I'm just doing a search for that. MKS 8. Just want to go and open folder location. It's under Lizard MKS 8. All right, so that's where it's hiding. So double click that again, open it up. Sorry guys, so it's taking a detour now. But I suppose you're going to run into the same problems, and it's a good thing I show you what to do. Now here, be very careful. We're going to edit the in-game one and not save it, because you don't want to mess up your tanker. So whatever you do here, do what you do, and when you exit, do not save. That's basically the biggest tip I can give you. So we're going to find all this stuff that is not needed on this tank. There you go, all that full units. So when we select now, we have only the tank. Nice. All right, so now we can select our tank again. I think now it should be fine. And we're going to go File, Export Selection. And we're going to go Desktop Temp Tank. Oh yeah, that's why we didn't see it earlier on. So I can save it, overwrite that one again. There you go. All right, so now just close, like I said. Close and do not save, because you don't want to mess up your in-game tank. Going down to our desktop temp folder, and we should have our, no, that's not the desktop tank, temp folder there. And we should have our tank in here. There it is. All right, so back into Blender once again and get stuck in there. So it's Escape A, delete. All right, and then File, Import, OBJ, like that, Desktop Temp, and then our tank, not water. Okay, good. Okay, good stuff. So all of this work now just to get the diameter or the size of this little tank that we have here. All right, so what we're going to do then now is create, so we're going to be in object mode here, go add mesh, and then a cylinder like so, and we want to rotate this cylinder. It will be the rotate or the move. Now that is rotate there, and then we want to use I think it's the Y. So let's open this up here, and you go item, and then rotation on the Y. I think it's going to be Y, so it's always not the one that is in the direction, it's always not. So just find the one and just rotate it 90 degrees. There you go. All right, and then we want to move. Right, so the next thing to do is make your orientation global. So instead of default, go global. And then the drag, we want to set to active tool. All right, so make sure it's on active tool, because otherwise you're not going to be able to drag it. So select the blue, and once you've clicked it, hold the Z, and it will move it on that axis for you. So, and then you can sort of align it. So what the best way to probably do this will be to click here on the X, so we can have the view from the front. All right, guys, and there's some stuff that's changed now in the new version of 4.3, obviously, and we learn as we go along. So leave the orientation to default, leave active tool on drag, and then it should work. When you press Z, it should work nicely, and leave it there, and then X, and then we should still be able to drag it here in when we've got the side view. Press Z and still be able to bring it into alignment with whatever we have there. All right, now as simple as easy as that, and we go -Y, and we can now hold shift and middle mouse drag. You can move your thing around like that, so which is nice, or you can use this little hand to move around with your mouse. So come and zoom in a little bit, and now we can just sort of get the diameter of this round tube. So you can already see where I'm going with this. Transformation, we want to go here now to edit mode, I think, and then scale. Actually, object mode should be fine if we scale it here. Scale the cylinder. We still got the cylinder selected, so we're going to scale the cylinder down to roughly the diameter there. So I'm going to just check the scale. And I think, yeah, this thing scales the whole thing like that. All right, and then just move it once again down. Let's see. It keeps chucking me this. So when I select that and I press Z, it's supposed to move. All right, here we go. like that. It looks like this tank is not 100% round by the looks of it. If I look at it like that, you know, it can go out a little bit more. So let's scale it tiny bit like that. So what I'm going to do is leave it like that, because we want this bend here to be the outside of the tank. And I'll show you how to, you can change the curvature of your sign a tiny bit in game, so that is handy to change it there by changing the vertical size of it, or scaling the vertical size a little bit. It will change the curvature of that thing, of your sign in game, you know. So now that we've got the curvature, that is fine. We can now delete the tank. We don't need that anymore, believe it or not. So go back to X. All right. Now that we have that, we're going to go Shift and then just move this to the center like that. Go back to our selection and make sure we've got the cylinder selected. Now, the first thing that you will notice about this cylinder is it's not nice and round, as you can see. So if we make a thing of this curvature now, it's going to have these lines on it because it's actually not a perfectly round circle. So we want to subdivide this boy a little bit. So we're going to go into, let me just see, right click, and then there is no subdivision in object mode. So you're going to go edit mode and then just make sure the cylinder is selected. I'm going to go A for all and then right click and go subdivide. And you see immediately it sort of gives us more. I'm going to go another time. That should be relatively smooth, but I'm going to give it one more time just to be safe. All right, and now that we have that selected, go here to back to edit object mode. I think it is object mode. Let me just go back to edit mode. And can we, I don't think we can do a modifier in edit mode, but let's have a look. Add a modifier for it. So what we're going to do is deform, and then we're going to go smooth, smooth, not corrective, the volume, smooth corrective. Yeah, so let's have a look at what happens when we smooth corrective and repeat. Okay, I'm going to go, I can't apply that in, it has to be in object mode. So let us see if I now repeat that a few times. No, it doesn't do anything. Smooth type, simple, length, weight. Just want to see what happens now. Nothing happens on that smooth. So let's cancel that modifier and let's try deform. Just do a normal smooth. It just does not do very much. So we want to select the axis. So definitely not the Z. So we want the X and Y then. All right. Factor. It does do some changes. There you go. That looks much better. All right. So fiddle around with that. So X and Y axis there. And then I've just fiddled with the factors and the repeats and whatever until I got a nice smooth surface. And then right click, not right click, just left click there and click apply, and it will apply the modifier. Now we've got a nice smooth surface to work with, and it's nice and shiny and round and smooth. Now we can start with our sign, which is the next thing that we want to do. All right, so first of all, I want to maybe bring this tank down a little bit. The Z on this cylinder is at 2.3 meters, so I'm going to make it 1 meter and see. Yeah, that's roughly close to the surface, which is fine. It should be all right. We can align it anyway in game, you know, so and this at this point it doesn't really matter because we're not going to use this cylinder. We're going to now attach or shrink a plane onto it, you know, that type of thing. So next thing to do, add mesh plane, just like that. And now first thing that you'll notice is this plane is now lying on its side there. So I want to align my view from the top, from this side like that. There you go. Maybe a little bit like that. Should be all right. Yeah, we should be able to see nicely. All right. Now the next thing is we're going to take this plane now once again, and the plane, if you go into, let me just show you what the plane looks like. If you go into edit mode, you'll see the plane has only got 4 nodes, or what do you call these things? Now I forgot the name of them. Only got 4 of these little nodes on the end. So this plane at the moment can't really bend. Even if you add a modifier, it will stay straight because it's got only the 4 nodes. So I don't know of other way of doing this. So what we're going to do is do the following. And what you're doing now, guys, is you're preparing this plane now for multiple use. So you can use this plane on multiple vehicles. It's not just shrink wrapping or projecting a thing onto this cylinder. We are going to actually use this plane and put our sign onto that eventually in the editor. So on here we're just preparing something that we can use for multiple signs, you know, where you can put it onto different round things and add another sign onto it, you know, modify it slightly a bit. And yeah, it won't work for everything because remember the curvature is now set once we've done this. So yeah, just a thought there. But there is a bit of leeway in the curvature, as you'll see later on in the editor. I'll show you. I'm having a nice cup of coffee in the background. So yeah, sorry for slurping if it does. So with the plane, with this plane, the same thing. Edit mode, right click on the plane, subdivide. And here we're going to once again subdivide quite a few times. Notably, you don't want to subdivide too much because you don't want to have too much triangles in your plane eventually, you know. So but yeah, as this is the thing that we want to export, I think that should, I'm going to go 1 last time like that. All right, that is actually a lot of nodes. Sorry guys, I'm actually not English, so I was thinking, what do you call these things now again? It is vertices. My word, it is vertices. These little dots. Great. It's a blonde moment, guys. Sorry, I'm not getting old. You can't confess nonsense. All right, so here we go. Now that you've still got it there, we want to now go and apply another modifier. So have the plane selected in edit mode. Actually, this is going to work only in object mode. So you go add modifier, and this time once again the deform, and go into shrink wrap. Okay, now the same with shrink wrap. You have to fiddle around it a little bit and have a look at the different things here. The wrap method, nearest surface point, is not going to work. We want to project it. Alright, so we want to project it, shrink the mesh to the nearest target surface along a given axis. Alright, so that's what we want. We want a given axis, which is this axis is the Z axis. So let us select that Z now, for instance. I just want to make sure. Alright, we haven't selected the object yet. So at the target, select your object. So click this little bubbly thing and click on your cylinder here. Alright, and there you can immediately see what it is doing. And the Z, let us have a select the Z. No, it's not the Z. It is not the Y. It is not the X. So it, oh, you see, positive. This is actually a nice, I learned something new. This is actually a nice way to build a cradle for your tank. I've done it without thinking. My word. All right, so we're going to swap to negative and see what happens, and go Z, Y, X, offset, vertex group, limit, subdivision, levels. Number of subdivisions will be performed before extracting vertices. Not too sure what all these things mean. All right, so from the bottom up, it seems to me that it doesn't work so nicely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this plane and swing that around to rotation. Let us see now, once again, get the one that worked. First try, very nice. So the Y worked. We rotated the Y, which is actually it is actually the Y-axis now that I think of it. Anyway, all right, so I have the plane selected once again, and then we're going to move it up once again. Select there, and we press Z, and then move it up there. Okay, like so. And we also want to bring it out. So if we now select this view, we can move this with shift, click and X. Cancel. I don't know why that wants to do that. We want to move with X on the on that axis, and then you just have it a little bit away from the tank. It's not really matter how far it's away, but I always have it a little bit further away from the tank. And one thing for sure, my sign is way too big, so we want to scale this down a little bit. And that is now on the Z axis. So the Z, we want to make 0.7 and see what 0.7 looks like. I just want to undo. Yeah, it did scale it. 0.7 was too little. Z, let's scale it to 0.5. No, it didn't scale it. Why not? Why not? Why not? Edit mode once again. Let's have a look. Item. Oh, object mode. So for some reason, sorry guys, it's the new Blender. It's a lot of stuff that I'm still trying to figure out. That is not really. I'm trying to scale this thing now on that one axis there, but it just doesn't want to do it, and it just want to scale this way. I suppose it is scaling because I haven't locked any of the scale transforms here. Let me just undo that and see if we lock the X and lock the Y. And now let's scale it. Now oh my word, you just can't win there, guys. You just can't win. All right, anyway, doesn't matter. Let's just scale it down a little bit because it's too big. Figure out how to stupid thing works later on, not today. For some reason I can't scale it, but anyway, I'm sure someone will tell me in the tip, oh Farmer Bob, you missed that. But anyway, we live and learn. And one thing to note, guys, I'm definitely not an expert in Blender. Ask me something about map making. Don't ask me something about Blender. I'm useless in Blender. But at least I can show you how to do something in Blender. But anyway. All right. Now that we've got it scaled down a little bit, let's try again the modifier. I'll just want to go down there. Object mode. It has to be in object mode, and then, or maybe you can do it in edit mode on that shrink wrap. I'm not too sure, but anyway, if we go down there now, deform shrink wrap, Okay, shrink wrap, nearest surface point, target normal project. Shrink the mesh to the nearest target surface. Okay, I'm going to use that one and see what it does. And our target then is the tank, right? It sort of looks like it's dropping all of that down onto there. On the surface, above the surface, all right, let's see that. The offset is how far above, so I'm going to go 0.01, that is a tiny little bit. 0.1 is too little, so let us make that 0.1 and see. Yeah, that's good. That is perfect. And there you can see our bent sign thingamajobby. All right, so now that we have that there, you can go here and you see you can't apply. It has to be in object mode. All right, so and then we go to apply, and it has applied that now to our little shape. And now that we have that shape, you want to make sure you have that plane selected, this one here. Don't double click it. Oh, before we export it, very important, we have to put a material channel onto it. So once again, have it this time in edit mode selected, and then we go here to the material bolletjie, that little round ball, and don't create a new one. Most of the time there's already a material in here, so just click that down box and select that one, because otherwise you're going to have two materials selected for it. So just have the one. If there isn't one here at the drop down, if there's nothing here, you click new and you type a name for it. So I'm going to just call this curve, curve backing, because that's basically what it is. It's a backing plate for your sign. All right, and enter. In here, I don't change anything. I just leave it as is. But the most important is in edit mode, have this assign button. Click it to assign your new channel, material channel, to this object. All right, so now it's assigned. And at this point, I could just go normally save as, and I will just call it curved sign. Curved, sorry, I didn't double click there. So it's curved backing. Just like that, save as. That's just the project. So now the project is saved, I can always come back and fiddle with it if something is not kosher, you know. Go back into object mode, select the plane, go to your Blender export tool. All the stuff I leave default. I never fiddle with any of these things. You tick here, use Blender file name, uncheck that, select the little file dropper here, and go into a place. Let me just see Blender projects. I don't want to put it there. I'm going to. You can see I've already. Yesterday I did a sign for someone, and that's when I thought, oh, this is something that people has asked me about, so let me do a video on it. All right, so I'm going to just drop it on the desktop and call this thing in my temp folder. Let me just drop it in the temp folder. There you go. And then I'll just give it a name here. The i3D will have a name, and I'll call it curved backing, like that. Remember, no spaces, guys. Never put spaces in anything. Use an underscore. If you really have to have a space, use an underscore. And that's it. So now that you've got the file name locked, you just select this one that says export selected, and then you wait for the confirmation here at the bottom there. Success. Export time 2 seconds. All right, I can close this now. I can save it. And now we go into our temp folder. We are already there. And find our curved backing with its shape file. There are 2 files. Cut it, and let's go into our mods folder, and I'm going to go right click, new folder, and let's call this a FS FS25 underscore MKS 8, just like that. And I'll just drop in here, new folder, textures, like that, and drop my 2 files in there. And let's go in there to mods, no, not that one, this one, not this one, sorry, FS25, data, vehicles, lizard MKS 8. You take that one and that one, Control C, and you go back into our textures back here, Control V, and now we have the little container tanky thingamabob in our mods folder. So I was almost showing you how to make an in-game mod or replaceable for that matter. Not that this is complete, you still need to create an XML. Well, you don't have to create an XML, you have to create a mod disk for it. Anyway, so there's our tank once again, guys, and now we can file import our mods folder in there, and MKS 8, textures, curved backing, and look at that little beauty. And now this is where I wanted to show you. The first thing you want to do is open your materials window and just delete the emissive map. You can deselect the emissive, but I'll leave that channel there for whatever you want to do. If you want to have a gloss map in, you know, or a emissive map, or if it needs to glow, if it's a backing sign that needs to glow, you can actually have this thing glow, you know. So leave that emissive channel in Blender. That's why I say leave everything default, let it export everything with it, and then it comes, you know, it works. Okay, material is curved backing. You can change the material name, but remember we created a material channel for it, and it gave it that same name. So if you want to change this before you import it, you go in here, right click here and edit your i3D and change your material name here. So double click that, change it to whatever you want the material name to be, save it, and then import it in here, and you'll have a different material name for it, you know. So that's just the way to do it. And here you can see your plane. You want to Control X that, open this up, go back into your visuals for the tank, which is this one, Control V, drop it in there and make sure it is at the bottom of everything in this tree. So you don't want it up there, because otherwise you're going to mess around with your mod. By the way, this little i3D and shapefile is now a thing that you can use in any of your, so put it in a folder or just drop it into your mod, and you can import it as I'm doing now into your buildings, into whatever. You can drop it in there and you'll now have a curved backing. And like I said, you can adjust the curve a little bit. So I'm going to show you now, if you now put this in there, you'll immediately see it's not aligned with height according to what it should be. So what you can do, what I normally do, is use the in and out until this gray line is at the center point. It's not that, you don't want to rotate it, the movement. So have it as close as the center as you can be, and then just move it up and down until the gray spot is once again in the center. Close enough. And then you can move it out again until the gray spot just disappears. And now I use the scale to bring the scale in, and you can see the curve now curves more and less. That's why I say you can apply this nice handy backing plate up to a lot of curved objects by having that, you know. And you can also scale it sideways, you know, make it bigger and smaller for sign sizes, you know. So very nice handy thing to have. And then once again, I'm going to just get it now to sort of be white all over. I need to go up a little bit, just like that, in and out until your sign is just above the surface, right, or your backing. Now this thing has got this strips of steel, so I'm going to align this thing in between the strips of steel and make it a little bit smaller, like that. And for the bottom one, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do with that now. I can pull this up and rotate it around the edge of this drum, you know, so I can put the sign anywhere around the edge of this drum. It's just going to be a little bit of more alignment, you know, but for the sake of the video, I'm not going to bother with that now. Now we want to put now our texture on there. So the next thing you want to do is have your texture. So I'm going to show you quickly how to properly prepare a texture for Farming Simulator 25. Now you first need the PNG file. So I want to put let's say this Arla, let's use this Arla sign. It's got PNGs, and I want to make a DDS because you can't use PNGs in FS25 anymore. They don't allow it. It needs to be a compressed DDS file. So you want to open this up. I just use normal paint.net and have it like that. Now the first thing you must notice, this is a decal. In other words, only the sign is visible. If it was a full white or a full sign that has got no see-through, this little black and white triangles means that there's going to be no sign there. It's going to be see-through. All right. So if you see that, you immediately know it's going to be an export as a DXT5 format. If it's a full sign that has got no transparency or no invisible parts to it, it's a DXT1. So stick to that rule and you'll have no problem. All right. Another very important thing is the size, the resolution of your image. You cannot have any resolution anymore. Unfortunately, you have to scale it once it's in the editor, but outside, before you can import it, it will give you an error that the size is incorrect, or it will just give you a red error that the sign is not correct size, you know. So the sizes now needs to be in 2N format. In other words, it is a binary format. So binary is 1248 16 32 64 128 256 512 1024 2048 and so on, 4096. So that is binary format. So any of that sizes, but nothing else. So you can see mine is 2048 by 1024. Both is binary sizes. So that is perfect. And you can have it any size on either side as long as it's one of those binary sizes. Okay, I hope it makes sense. You cannot have like 2050 in here. It will give an error, or 2000 or 1600, and even 1600 won't work, you know, because it's not binary. Okay, so anyway, enough of that. So scale your image correctly. If you don't know how to, you just go image, resize, and just do it in here. I normally use bicubic smooth, and it normally gives, but sometimes play around with just bicubic or whatever and get the correct sizing of your image to look nice, and then go file, save as, and I'm going to leave it in here in my brands folder because that's where I put all my stuff. And then you can go down to DDS format and go save. And now here, because this is a backing that has got see-through stuff that's invisible, it needs to be DXT5. If it's a normal full sign that has got just a normal sign, it's going to be DXT1. All right, so that's the two that we always use for the two different signs or decals or whatever you want to use. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So okay, and close up, and we should be happy. We might have to come back and rotate this a little bit for, where is it now? Press F5 to re-scramble our things. There it is. So I'm going to copy that. The golden rule: never import something that's not in the mod folder itself or in the folder that you are working with. Ooh, I've gone out of my mods folder. In there, into textures, paste it in here. So that's where we're going to work with it. All right. So now I'm sure we're going to have to rotate it, but let's give it a go and see. File. Before we import it, I just want to save. Very important. Save your work before, because what's happening sometimes is once you've imported a texture, you have to close the editor, come back, because otherwise the texture let me show you what happens. It's going to be easier to show you. This is now how some glitches and stuff that's still in the editor that's not been sorted out. But anyway, it's better I'll show you. So let's import from the folder I said, all the foods. There it is. Drop it in there, and immediately you can see our textures there, and it's nice and see-through on the edges, which is what we want. But it is the wrong orientation, so we need to rotate it 90 degrees to anti-clockwise, or 90 degrees anti-clockwise. All right. So now I'm going to just show you. So now I'm going to delete that. So now I've deleted that channel, but in Giant's mind, it is actually still there. In Giant's mind, I've deleted it, but in Giant's mind, it is actually still there. I'm going to show you what I'm on about. So let's just open this up again. So I'm going to rotate this thing now, image, rotate counterclockwise, like that. Save it. I'm just going to save, overwrite the existing one. All right, close it. So now you agree with me, I have now rotated this, saved it, and let's just import it again once more. Arla Foods. Okay, you see it's here nice and on that size. And it still remembers that old one. So this is what I'm saying. So what we do now is, because we've saved before we started this, we can close the editor without saving, because we've saved it before. And let's just reopen. And that's the only way you can get rid of this annoying oversight of that Giants has made. Or it's just a glitch that's still in the editor that obviously I don't even think they're aware of it, or maybe they are and they just don't care, I don't know. But anyway, select your plane again, select it and go in there, grab our Arla Foods, and there it is now, properly aligned and the way it should be. All right. So guys, that is how nice it is, and how, well, I won't say easy it is, but the process of getting a template made for round objects. And this template, like I said, I can now use this one that I've made. This 2 is one actually. I can use this on virtually anything, on silos, on water tanks, on farm silos, on anything that's round, diesel tanks, and make little decals for your diesel tanks, all right, or for whatever you want to use, because this is a proper decal now. As you can see, it is transparent, the parts that is not part of the sign. There you can see straight through it. So that's a very nice way of making a decal. I just don't know how much triangles is wasted on this creation of the shape. There might be some stuff that I don't know of to make it more one unit. So I'm not too sure how much stuff it will take, to have this backing, but it works for me. And I showed you the process, so we live and learn, together. So I hope it's been helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed it with me. Guys, and as usual, I'm going to take this curved backing that I've made and drop it onto my Patreon shop. For all my Patreons, you can have it for free and enjoy it. If you don't feel like strengthening your, exercising your blender muscles, you have to constantly do that, because the more you use it, the easier stuff becomes. It's like that old saying that Gary Player had: the more he practices, the luckier he gets. So in Blender and in the editor, Giant's editor, it's the same thing. The more you work with it, the better you get. And understanding and sort of figuring out stuff. But anyway, for my Patreons, you can have it for free. Enjoy it, guys. It is there in the shop. It will be there in the shop, hopefully by the time this video is up. So yeah, I'll make sure it is there for you guys to enjoy. And have a wonderful, fantastic day. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Cheers.